say something about this. So I was, myself and Larry Finkelstein from Northeastern led a group that the University Partners group, but it was, as Rick said, there were people from different constituencies there as well. And I guess one of the things that on the university side we kind of were discussing was how a centre like this is enabling technology for, some of us think about doing this on the large scale, but here we were much more talking about it locally, bringing interesting resources into the K through 12 kind of educational environment that are not readily available today, but that the technology that's going on in the HPCC, and also kind of linking somewhat, overlapping somewhat with the Cisco Smart Connected Community thing, would enable to bring into the classroom kind of virtual resources that aren't available today, that would allow you to do, particularly on the science and engineering curriculum and math side, kind of experiment with equations and formula that you kind of get exposed to in school at the moment but don't get a good feel for, trying to create some virtual resources working with the kind of K through 12 teachers, and that I already work with a few teachers on this around the country, and certainly, that's seen as an interesting possibility of a resource like this. And I think, doing that in this area, working with people here, would be a great opportunity. And there was a lot of resonance with other people in this session about that. And that, obviously, the goal would be to kind of work with teachers in some way to kind of help enhance the curriculum they already have, and trying to address some of the training the workforce for the 21st century issues that Robert just raised and so on. And so that was certainly a big theme that came out of that session. So, and there's a whole kind of technology side that we can think of that goes around that. In fact, Rick, they've just been putting in a proposal that kind of addresses some of this. That's already kind of like something that's being catalysed by this activity to try and pull some things together in an area.
I think there's also the issue of, and Chris has mentioned, this proposal I'll talk about next, is the possibility of using the center, the cloud that the center represents, as a way of kind of providing sort of standard resources for the public schools in the district. I mean, one possibility for using these machines is just as a way of providing normal desktop services that would be managed at the center but provided over the network to the schools. And the schools wouldn't be so responsible for having to upgrade their computers every year or upgrade their software every week. And there's that kind of possibility. It's kind of on the less ambitious in the scale, but perhaps in some sense valuable. And the other thing I was talking about, and Chris's was this issue of how do we get students from Holyoke more involved in the sort of research that's going to go on in the center. There's a lot of really exciting, relevant research activities here, and we all have
so we talked about a number of forums for doing that, ways to take advantage of the space that comes with the public space that's needed for this, to actually have activities there that would explain to people interesting things that were going on, resonate with people in terms of inspiring what's possible.
Who was there from the school department? They were. I should have brought over a list of that. Oh. So there was an awful lot of energy at this workshop. I mean, it was quite amazing. I mean, I think there were people. I mean, it was a drop off from after lunch, but there was still a fairly large group of people, and there seemed to be a great deal of excitement that was generated by having this sort of diverse group of people get together and talk about what the center could do for Holyoke. So, a couple days later, I was talking to someone at the National Science Foundation and just telling her about, this exciting workshop. I was actually trying to get her to do something else for me. And she said, well, you should send a proposal in. So what we have put together in the last 2 weeks with the very hard work of an awful lot of people is something called the C4 project, Canals and Computers, Community, and Collaboration. And so it is all about starting this activity of education, outreach, and training activities now, 24 months in advance of the center. It's a small grant program. The total grant would be a couple $100,000 a year for 3 years. So it's not going to be of the scale that one really would need to address the larger issues here. But we're going to try to leverage as much as possible things that are going on. And it's a proposal from 5 Colleges, Inc., actually. And the proposal builds on the High Performance Computing Center, and I'll show you the organization structure in a second. The 5 college community-based learning activities. There are, I believe at the moment, somewhere between 300 and 500 students from Smith, Amherst, Hampshire, Mount Holyoke, UMass, HCC, and STIC working as tutors and mentors in the city of Holyoke. And we were going to use that infrastructure as a way of recruiting more students in to try to help accomplish what we want to accomplish. We're hoping that to have space if this grant comes through, and Jeff Hayden has sort of generously offered some space in the McNally Center for us to start up, and the plan would be that we would start the activities there and move to the High Performance Computing Center when it opens. There's sort of three foci. One is on college readiness. So this involves trying to organize a way to build on what's going on right now, primarily by Mount Holyoke College in Peck School, and to try to extend that to get middle school kids math aware, IT career aware early enough so they make the right decisions and they're prepared to go on. There's an effort in the Science in the Cloud that Chris talked about, in which we're going to do professional development for teachers to try to get them up to date on what's available. On that slide, one back. Anyway, I can't get up. Anyway, if you remember, there was a little handheld device on there which Chris has developed some technologies which use these handheld devices to use the cloud. And so as a way of doing science curricula. And so there's an effort in that area. There's going to be a large number of a large number of outreach events held in this space, and there's funding to outfit the space before the center comes online. And the center is supposed to have several multi-purpose rooms in it that can be used for activities. But this grant would have some way of at least equipping, providing some computing equipment, providing some robotics kits, other things that we could use to support local activities. We're going to work with the libraries